Negative thoughts can feel like an endless storm, constantly brewing in the back of your mind, waiting to break through the calm of your day. They creep in quietly, often without warning, clouding your judgment and pulling you into a cycle of self-doubt, fear, and anxiety. At times it feels impossible to escape them. You may try to push them away, but they persist, gaining strength with every moment of hesitation. What many don't realize is that these thoughts are not beyond our control. In fact, they can be dismantled, piece by piece, until they no longer hold the power to overwhelm us. The ancient Stoics knew this all too well. Their philosophy was rooted in one powerful truth: you are not defined by your thoughts, but by your actions. This was the key to their resilience. They understood that negative thoughts are not the enemy, our reaction to them is. By changing how we respond to the negativity within us, we open up the path to freedom, clarity, and peace. Consider this. How often do you allow negative thoughts to dictate your mood? A single fleeting doubt can snowball into a wave of frustration, anger, or even despair. It happens more often than we care to admit. We become trapped in a loop of overthinking, analyzing every mistake, worrying about every possible outcome, and letting our emotions run wild. What starts as a minor issue grows into an insurmountable mountain. But what if, instead of allowing these thoughts to consume you, you could confront and dismantle them with calm confidence? The key lies in understanding that you have more control over your mind than you think. Negative thoughts do not define you. They are simply a response to the world around you, shaped by past experiences, fears, and uncertainties. However, just because they appear doesn't mean they have to stay, and it certainly doesn't mean they have to control your life. This is where the teachings of Stoicism come in, offering a roadmap for how to approach negative thoughts, not with fear, but with strength. The Stoics believed that we cannot control the external world, what others do, the challenges life throws our way, or the random events that disrupt our plans, but we can always control how we react to it. This is the core of Stoic resilience, choosing to focus on what is within our power. Your mind is within your power. Every thought that arises can be observed, understood, and either embraced or dismissed. The Stoics taught that it is this inner discipline that frees us from the chains of negativity. When you begin to shift your mindset, something incredible happens. Those thoughts that once felt so overwhelming begin to lose their grip. They become weaker, less significant. Instead of drowning in a sea of what-ifs and self-doubt, you rise above it, clear-headed and focused. You no longer let emotions drag you down into a spiral of negativity. Instead, you become the calm within the storm. And isn't that what we all strive for? To be steady, to be unshaken by the ups and downs of life. It's not about pretending that negative thoughts don't exist or pretending that everything is always fine. It's about learning to face them head-on and refuse to give them power. The truth is, negative thoughts are part of being human. We all have them. What separates those who are overwhelmed by them from those who thrive despite them is how we choose to react. The Stoics knew that every moment of weakness, every flicker of doubt, is an opportunity for growth. With each negative thought that arises, we are given a choice: to let it control us or to take control of it. Self-awareness is your greatest tool. By becoming aware of your thoughts, you begin to see them for what they truly are: temporary. The mind has a habit of fixating on things, making them seem far worse than they actually are. But when you take a step back and observe your thoughts, you begin to realize that most of them are nothing more than fleeting reactions to external stimuli. They are not rooted in reality, but in fear and uncertainty. Once you recognize this, you can begin to dismantle them with ease. You can break the cycle of overthinking, but it requires discipline and practice. Stoicism teaches that the mind, like the body, must be trained. Just as muscles grow stronger with repeated exercise, your mental resilience strengthens every time you challenge a negative thought. It doesn't happen overnight, but with each small victory, you become more adept at confronting your doubts and fears. Think about all the times you've been trapped in a cycle of overthinking, replaying scenarios in your head, imagining the worst possible outcomes. What if, instead of allowing those thoughts to spiral out of control, you took a moment to pause, reflect, and remind yourself of what you can control? Suddenly, the chaos within your mind begins to calm. You start to see things more clearly. You realize that most of your worries are rooted in things outside of your control, and by focusing on what you can do, you free yourself from the grip of negativity. Control over your inner dialogue is the foundation of a happy, fulfilled life. When you master your inner voice, you master your emotions. The way you talk to yourself shapes your reality. Negative self-talk can be incredibly damaging, creating a distorted view of yourself and the world. But when you choose to speak to yourself with kindness, understanding, and strength, you begin to cultivate a mindset of positivity and growth. The Stoics taught that you must become the master of your inner dialogue, guarding it against the intrusions of negativity and fear. It's time to stop letting negative thoughts have the final say in your life. The road ahead will not be easy. No great change ever is, but it will be worth it. You have the power to transform your thoughts, to break free from the chains of negativity that have held you back for so long. You have the ability to rise above self-doubt and worry, to build a life filled with clarity, purpose, and peace. This isn't about quick fixes or temporary solutions. It's about developing a mindset that can withstand the tests of time and challenge. It's about cultivating resilience, the kind of mental toughness that allows you to face adversity without being overwhelmed by it. Every negative thought is a chance to grow stronger. Every moment of doubt is an opportunity to reaffirm your control over your mind. And every setback is a chance to learn, adapt, and move forward with greater wisdom and strength. You are stronger than your negative thoughts. They may seem powerful now, but they are nothing in comparison to your ability to conquer them. By embracing the wisdom of Stoicism, by committing to the discipline of self-awareness, reflection, and gratitude, you will find yourself not only free from the weight of negativity, but empowered to live a life of true fulfillment. The journey begins now. You already possess everything you need to break free from negative thinking and regain control over your mind and emotions. It's time to take that first step. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Each moment you spend waiting is a moment you could be using to take back control. Your mind is your most powerful asset, and with the right mindset, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Let this be the beginning of your transformation. With every thought you confront, with every moment of discipline and clarity, you move closer to the life you deserve, a life of peace, purpose, and freedom from negativity. This is your path, and it starts here. Let nothing hold you back. Now that we've laid the foundation for understanding how powerful your thoughts can be and how Stoicism offers the tools to conquer negativity, let's dive deeper. Negative thoughts have a way of sneaking into your mind, influencing your emotions, your decisions, and even how you see the world. But the good news is, you don't have to be at their mercy. With the right approach, rooted in Stoic wisdom, you can destroy these harmful thoughts once and for all. The path ahead is challenging, but every step you take brings you closer to freedom. Freedom from the constant chatter of doubt and fear, and freedom to live a life of clarity and peace. It all starts with self-awareness. Before you can tackle negative thoughts, you need to recognize them. These thoughts often appear subtle at first, a quiet voice in the back of your mind telling you that you're not good enough or that things will never work out. The Stoics emphasized that we must first observe our thoughts without judgment, seeing them for what they are, just thoughts. This simple act of recognition is the first step toward dismantling their power. Once you start paying attention, you'll notice how frequently negative thoughts arise and how quickly they multiply if left unchecked. As you become more aware of your thoughts, you'll realize that many of them are based on assumptions and fears that have no real foundation. Stoicism teaches us to challenge these thoughts, to question their validity. Are these fears grounded in reality, or are they the product of overthinking and anxiety? By critically examining your thoughts, you can start to separate what is real from what is imagined. This process, though uncomfortable at times, allows you to confront your deepest fears and dismantle them one by one. The next step is to practice detachment. Stoic philosophy revolves around the idea that we must learn to let go of things beyond our control, including the thoughts that arise in our minds. You are not your thoughts. Just because a negative idea enters your mind doesn't mean you have to engage with it or let it shape your emotions. When you learn to observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them, you gain the ability to choose which ones to focus on and which ones to let go. This detachment is a powerful tool in dismantling the grip of negativity. Embracing this mindset requires discipline, a central tenet of Stoicism. Discipline means training your mind to focus on what matters and ignore what doesn't. It means consistently practicing awareness, reflection, and control, even when it's difficult. Stoics understood that true freedom lies in mastering oneself, particularly one's thoughts and emotions. When negative thoughts arise, it's tempting to fall back into old patterns, to wallow in self-pity or fear. But with discipline, you can catch yourself before you spiral, redirecting your focus toward more constructive thoughts and actions. A crucial element of this practice is staying grounded in the present moment. Negative thoughts often stem from fears about the future or regrets about the past. By focusing on the here and now, you take away their power. The Stoics were masters of mindfulness long before the term became popular. They believed in living fully in the present, concentrating on what you can do right now to improve your situation or mindset. When you immerse yourself in the present, there's little room for negative thoughts to take hold. Part of mastering your thoughts involves changing your perspective. Stoicism teaches us that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but the way we interpret them. Two people can experience the same situation, yet one might remain calm while the other becomes overwhelmed with negative thoughts. The difference lies in how each person chooses to interpret the situation. By learning to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles, you can shift your entire mindset. Instead of letting negativity consume you, you'll begin to see each difficult moment as a chance to strengthen your mental resilience. Building this mental resilience takes time, but the more you practice, the stronger you become. Stoic philosophy encourages us to prepare for hardship, to expect that life will not always go according to plan. By accepting this reality, you fortify yourself against disappointment and frustration. You're no longer blindsided when things go wrong, because you've trained yourself to handle adversity with grace and composure. This resilience creates a shield against negative thoughts, allowing you to remain calm and focused, no matter what life throws your way. It's important to remember that controlling your thoughts isn't about suppressing emotions. Stoicism doesn't ask you to ignore or bury your feelings, but rather to understand and manage them. Emotions are natural, but it's how we react to them that matters. When a negative emotion arises, instead of letting it consume you, you can pause, reflect, and choose how to respond. This creates a sense of empowerment, As you realize that you are not a slave to your emotions or thoughts, you are in control. Part of this process involves cultivating gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. When you start to feel overwhelmed by negativity, take a moment to reflect on the good in your life. The Stoics practiced gratitude daily, recognizing that even in difficult times, there is always something to be thankful for. This practice helps to reframe your mindset, making it harder for negative thoughts to take root. At the core of Stoic philosophy is the understanding that you control your reaction to external events. You may not be able to change the circumstances of your life, but you can always change how you respond to them. This mindset is the key to breaking free from the cycle of negativity. Instead of reacting impulsively to every challenge, you learn to respond with intention and wisdom. Each time you choose a calm, measured response over a negative one, you build your mental strength and reinforce your control over your thoughts. This approach also helps you develop patience. Negative thoughts often stem from frustration or impatience with the way things are. We want everything to be perfect, and when it's not, we let negativity take over. Stoicism teaches us to accept that life unfolds at its own pace, and that we must be patient, not only with others, but with ourselves. When you cultivate patience, you create space for positive thoughts to emerge, pushing out the negativity that once dominated your mind. Incorporating these practices into your life is a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks, and that's okay. What matters is that you continue to practice and persevere. The more you engage with Stoic principles, the more natural they become, until eventually they form the foundation of your mindset. You'll find that negative thoughts no longer have the power to derail you, because you've built an inner fortress of resilience, discipline, and clarity. As you continue on this path, you'll notice that your interactions with others begin to change as well. Negative thoughts not only affect how we see ourselves, but how we perceive those around us. When you rid yourself of these thoughts, you become more patient, compassionate, and understanding in your relationships. This leads to deeper connections and less conflict, as you no longer project your inner turmoil onto others. The more you practice Stoicism, the more you'll experience moments of clarity and peace. These moments will become more frequent, until one day you realize that negativity no longer dominates your mind the way it once did. You'll begin to feel lighter, freer, and more in control of your life. The weight of negative thoughts will lift, replaced by a sense of calm confidence. And this transformation isn't limited to your mind. It extends to every area of your life. As your mindset shifts, so too does your ability to achieve your goals, connect with others, and handle adversity. By destroying negative thoughts, you unlock your full potential, allowing you to live a life that is truly aligned with your values and desires. As you continue to practice these principles, you'll notice that not only do negative thoughts occur less frequently, but when they do arise, they no longer hold the same power over you. You've learned how to confront them, dismantle them, and move forward with clarity and purpose. This is the ultimate goal of Stoicism: to live a life free from the tyranny of negative thoughts, grounded in wisdom and guided by inner strength. This journey isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Each day, with every thought you challenge, you take one step closer to mastering your mind. And with that mastery comes a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and fulfillment. You've gained the tools to destroy negative thoughts, and now it's up to you to continue using them, transforming your life one thought at a time. Having explored how Stoic wisdom allows us to dismantle negative thoughts, it's time to address another powerful obstacle that often stands in the way of peace: overthinking. Overthinking is more than just a mental habit. It's a prison of indecision, doubt, and worry that keeps us locked in place, unable to move forward. The thoughts swirl, endlessly repeating themselves, but never offering solutions. It can feel like a mental fog, weighing down your mind and preventing clarity. But what if there was a way out? A method that not only quiets the noise, but also redirects your mind toward what truly matters. The Stoics believed that discipline, mental discipline, was the key to breaking the cycle of overthinking. Overthinking is often rooted in a lack of control, in letting our thoughts run wild without guiding them. Stoicism teaches us that we can, and must, control the flow of our thoughts. This starts by recognizing when overthinking begins to creep in. The mind, left unchecked, will jump from one idea to another, creating endless scenarios and imagined outcomes. The first step to breaking this cycle is awareness, knowing when you've crossed the line from productive reflection into harmful rumination. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that more thought will lead to better outcomes, but often it's the opposite. The more you overthink, the less decisive you become. Stoic discipline teaches us to trust in simple, clear thinking. When faced with a decision, take a moment to assess what is in your control and what is not. Overthinking often stems from trying to control the uncontrollable. What others will think, what might go wrong, what could happen if things don't go as planned. By focusing only on what is within your power, you reduce the mental clutter and prevent your thoughts from spiraling out of control. Breaking free from overthinking also requires learning to embrace uncertainty. One of the biggest drivers of overthinking is fear of the unknown. The mind tries to fill in the blanks, to create certainty where there is none. But Stoicism teaches us that life is inherently unpredictable. The Stoics were not concerned with knowing all the answers. They were concerned with how they would respond, no matter the outcome. This is a liberating mindset because it frees you from the need to know everything before acting. You accept that uncertainty is part of life, and instead of overthinking every possibility, you focus on preparing yourself mentally for whatever may come. Decision-making becomes much simpler when you strip away the need for perfection. Overthinking often happens when you fear making the wrong choice, so you endlessly weigh every option, hoping to find the perfect answer. Stoicism teaches that there is no perfect choice, only the choice you make with the best knowledge and intention available at the moment. Once you embrace this truth, you free yourself from the paralyzing weight of indecision. You stop trying to predict every possible outcome and instead focus on making a decision that aligns with your values and accepting whatever consequences follow. A large part of overcoming overthinking involves learning to let go. The Stoics believed in controlling only what you can and accepting what you cannot. When you overthink, you're often trying to control things far beyond your reach. Other people's reactions, future events, or the endless what-ifs that could arise. Letting go of this need for control is not about giving up, but about freeing your mind to focus on what truly matters. When you let go of the uncontrollable, you give yourself space to act with clarity and purpose, without being weighed down by unnecessary mental burdens. Overthinking is also closely tied to emotional overwhelm. When you allow your emotions to dictate your thoughts, you can easily get trapped in a cycle of fear, worry, or doubt. Stoicism teaches emotional discipline, the ability to acknowledge your emotions without letting them control you. Emotions are natural, but overthinking magnifies them, often distorting reality. By practicing Stoic discipline, you learn to separate emotion from fact, to observe your feelings without letting them drive your actions. This mental clarity allows you to think rationally, even when emotions run high. The ability to pause before reacting is one of the most powerful tools in breaking the cycle of overthinking. The Stoics believed that there is always a moment between stimulus and response. a space where you can choose how to react. In moments of overthinking, taking a pause can break the momentum of the spiraling thoughts. When you stop and breathe, you give yourself a chance to regain control of your mind, to reframe the situation and decide how to proceed. This simple practice can prevent countless hours of unnecessary mental struggle. Another crucial aspect of Stoic discipline is learning to take action without hesitation. Overthinking often keeps us stuck in a loop of inaction, constantly weighing options without ever making a move. Stoicism encourages decisive action. When you focus on what is in your control and let go of the rest, it becomes easier to make clear decisions and act on them. Action breaks the cycle of overthinking because it forces you out of your head and into the real world. You stop worrying about what might happen and start doing what needs to be done. Overthinking often thrives in isolation. When you're alone with your thoughts, it's easy to get lost in them, to let them spiral out of control. Stoicism teaches the importance of community and connection. By engaging with others, sharing your thoughts, and seeking advice, you gain perspective. Sometimes, the simple act of talking through your worries with a trusted friend or mentor can help you see that you've been overcomplicating things. Stoics valued the wisdom of others and understood that no one has all the answers on their own. By reaching out, you break the mental loop and bring fresh insight into your situation. Another key to breaking the cycle of overthinking is embracing simplicity. The more you complicate your thinking, the harder it is to make progress. The Stoics believed in keeping things simple and straightforward. When you face a problem, instead of letting your mind run wild with possibilities, simplify the issue. What is the core problem? What can you do about it? What can't you control? By stripping away the unnecessary details, you cut through the fog of overthinking and gain clarity. It's also important to recognize the role of self-doubt in overthinking. Many times we overthink because we don't trust ourselves to make the right decision. We second-guess our instincts and question every move. Stoicism teaches confidence in one's own judgment. When you align your actions with your values, you can trust that you are making the right decision, even if the outcome isn't perfect. By building self-trust, you stop the cycle of questioning every thought and begin to act with greater conviction. Breaking free from overthinking is not about stopping thoughts altogether, but about directing them in a constructive way. The Stoics believed that thoughts should be tools for understanding and action, not barriers to progress. When you learn to focus your thoughts on what is meaningful and productive, you shift from overthinking to problem-solving. This shift in mindset allows you to approach challenges with clarity and purpose without getting lost in unnecessary details. As you practice Stoic discipline, you'll begin to notice that your mind becomes more still, more focused. The constant chatter of overthinking quiets down, and you are left with a sense of calm. This mental stillness is one of the greatest rewards of Stoicism. It's not about having no thoughts, but about having clear, purposeful thoughts that guide you toward action, rather than keeping you trapped in indecision. Discipline, patience, and clarity are the cornerstones of Stoic thought. They provide the framework needed to break free from the endless loops of overthinking and regain control of your mind. Each time you catch yourself slipping into overthinking, each time you pause, reflect, and choose to act, you are building mental resilience. Over time, this resilience becomes second nature, and you find yourself less prone to the traps of overthinking. It's important to remember that breaking the cycle of overthinking is a journey, not an instant fix. There will be moments when you slip back into old habits, but with each slip, you have the opportunity to practice Stoic discipline once again. With each challenge, you grow stronger, more aware, and more in control of your thoughts. Overthinking may still arise from time to time, but it no longer has the power to consume you. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from mastering the mind. When you break free from overthinking, you gain this freedom. You are no longer held captive by your thoughts, but instead you direct them with purpose and clarity. You begin to see the world not as a place of endless worry and uncertainty, but as a space for action, growth, and understanding. Every moment spent in overthinking is a moment lost to inaction. The Stoics taught us that life is too short to be wasted on endless rumination. Each day is an opportunity to move forward, to act with intention, and to live in alignment with your values. By breaking the cycle of overthinking, you reclaim those moments, turning them into opportunities for progress and growth. Overthinking also robs you of joy. When your mind is consumed with worry, doubt, and fear, there's little room for happiness. Stoic discipline helps you create space for joy by clearing away the mental clutter. When you stop overthinking, you open yourself up to the simple pleasures of life, the things that truly matter. You become more present, more engaged, and more at peace with the world around you. As you continue to practice Stoic discipline, you'll notice that not only does overthinking diminish, but your overall sense of well-being improves. You become more confident, more decisive, and more resilient in the face of challenges. You no longer feel weighed down by the endless cycle of thoughts that once held you back. Instead, you move through life with clarity, purpose, and strength. The process of breaking the cycle of overthinking is a transformative one. It changes not only how you think, but how you live. You become more focused on what truly matters, less concerned with trivial worries and doubts. You learn to trust yourself, to act with intention, and to let go of the things you cannot control. This is the essence of Stoic discipline, a mindset that allows you to live fully, free from the mental traps of overthinking. Having explored the ways to break the cycle of overthinking with Stoic discipline, it's time to turn inward. The conversations you have with yourself, whether you're conscious of them or not, are shaping your reality every single day. These inner dialogues are constant, and they influence not only your mood, but also your actions and your perception of the world. If left unchecked, they can become negative, self-defeating, and toxic. But when mastered, they can be the foundation of a peaceful, happy, and fulfilling life. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of mastering this inner dialogue, teaching us that happiness begins and ends in the mind. Your inner dialogue has the power to elevate you or tear you down. It's easy to let thoughts run wild, repeating old fears, doubts, or criticisms. This negative self-talk can become a loop, echoing past failures or worries about the future, keeping you stuck in a cycle of anxiety and insecurity. But Stoicism reminds us that we have control over these thoughts. You are not a passive participant in the narrative of your life. You are the author. By consciously choosing how you speak to yourself, you can shift your entire mindset. A negative inner dialogue doesn't just affect how you feel about yourself, it colors how you see the world. If you constantly tell yourself that things will go wrong or that you're not capable, you start to interpret everything through that lens. Small setbacks feel like confirmation of your worst fears, and every challenge feels insurmountable. But when you control your inner dialogue, you begin to see things differently. Instead of focusing on what might go wrong, you focus on what you can do. Instead of doubting yourself, you reinforce your own strength and capability. The Stoics understood that happiness is a byproduct of a well-managed mind. By controlling your thoughts, you create the conditions for peace. The external world will always bring challenges, but it is your inner world that determines whether you experience joy or sorrow. Mastering your inner dialogue is not about forcing yourself to be positive all the time, but about being intentional with your thoughts. It's about choosing to focus on what uplifts and empowers you rather than what drags you down. One of the key principles of Stoicism is the idea that we control our perception of events. The way you interpret the world around you is shaped by your inner dialogue. If your thoughts are filled with negativity, even neutral events can feel like personal attacks or failures. But by training your mind to respond with calmness and clarity, you transform your experience of life. You become less reactive, less swayed by the ups and downs of everyday existence. Instead, you approach each moment with a balanced, thoughtful mindset. Your inner dialogue also plays a crucial role in building self-discipline. Every time you face a challenge, your mind offers commentary. It might tell you that you're not strong enough, or it might encourage you to push through. The thoughts you listen to will shape your actions. By controlling this dialogue, you build the discipline necessary to follow through on your goals. When your inner voice is one of support and encouragement, rather than criticism, you find it easier to stay focused and motivated. Another important aspect of mastering your inner dialogue is learning to silence unnecessary noise. Your mind is constantly filled with thoughts, some helpful, some not. Stoicism teaches the importance of filtering out the distractions. Not every thought deserves your attention. By practicing mindfulness and awareness, you learn to let go of thoughts that don't serve you. This creates space for more productive, empowering thoughts to take root. As you practice this, you'll find that your mind becomes quieter, more focused, and more peaceful. An unchecked inner dialogue often leads to overthinking, as we explored earlier. But when you take control, you prevent your mind from spiraling into endless loops of doubt and fear. You learn to redirect your thoughts towards solutions rather than problems. This shift in focus brings clarity and a sense of empowerment. Instead of feeling trapped by your thoughts, you start to feel liberated by the fact that you can choose what to focus on. Building a happy life starts with small, intentional changes in how you speak to yourself. Stoic philosophers understood that the path to happiness is paved with self-awareness. By regularly checking in with yourself and assessing the quality of your thoughts, you can course-correct before negativity takes hold. This requires constant practice, but over time, it becomes second nature. You begin to catch yourself when you start to spiral into negative thinking, and instead, you consciously choose thoughts that align with peace, gratitude, and resilience. The more you practice controlling your inner dialogue, the more you begin to trust yourself. This trust is foundational to happiness. When you trust that your mind is aligned with your best interests, you experience less inner conflict. There's no constant battle between doubt and desire, no tug-of-war between fear and action. You move through life with a sense of purpose and confidence because you know that your thoughts are in harmony with your goals. Stoicism teaches that our thoughts are often the root of our suffering. When we allow negative or irrational thoughts to dominate our minds, we create unnecessary pain. But when we control our thoughts, we eliminate much of this suffering. You begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. Setbacks become learning experiences rather than failures. This mindset shift is key to building lasting happiness. It doesn't mean that life will always be easy, but it does mean that you will approach life with a sense of inner peace and resilience. The way you speak to yourself also influences how you interact with others. A harsh inner dialogue often leads to judgment, both of yourself and of those around you. But when you practice kindness and understanding toward yourself, it becomes easier to extend that same compassion to others. This strengthens your relationships, reduces conflict, and creates a more positive environment for everyone. Stoicism teaches that by mastering your inner world, you not only improve your own life, but the lives of those around you. It's important to recognize that controlling your inner dialogue doesn't mean suppressing all negative thoughts. Stoicism is not about denial. It's about acknowledging your thoughts, understanding where they come from, and deciding whether they deserve your attention. When negative thoughts arise, you don't have to let them take over. Instead, you can choose to question them, to challenge their validity, and to replace them with thoughts that are more aligned with your values and goals. A positive inner dialogue isn't just about thinking happy thoughts. It's about thinking clearly and rationally. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of reason in mastering the mind. When you approach your thoughts with logic and clarity, you strip away the emotional distortions that often lead to unnecessary suffering. You begin to see things as they are, rather than as your fears or anxieties make them appear. This clear thinking is essential for building a life grounded in peace and happiness. As you learn to control your inner dialogue, you also develop emotional resilience. Your thoughts are deeply connected to your emotions, and when you master your thoughts, you gain greater control over your emotional reactions. You stop being a slave to your feelings and instead learn to respond to them with intention. This emotional stability allows you to maintain your sense of peace even in difficult situations. You no longer feel overwhelmed by your emotions because you know that you have the mental tools to manage them. The practice of controlling your inner dialogue also teaches you patience. It's easy to become frustrated with yourself when negative thoughts arise, especially if you've been working hard to cultivate a positive mindset. But Stoicism teaches that change takes time and that setbacks are a natural part of growth. By approaching your inner dialogue with patience and persistence, you build the resilience needed to keep moving forward, even when progress feels slow. Over time, as you become more skilled at managing your inner dialogue, you'll notice that negative thoughts arise less frequently. Your mind will naturally begin to focus on what is constructive, positive, and empowering. This doesn't mean that life will be free of challenges, but it does mean that you'll face those challenges with a greater sense of peace and confidence. Your inner dialogue becomes a source of strength rather than a source of stress. Mastering your inner dialogue also involves cultivating a sense of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to negative thinking. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you naturally shift your thoughts away from what's lacking or wrong in your life. Stoicism teaches that by appreciating the present moment and the good things in your life, you create a mental environment that supports happiness and well-being. Gratitude grounds you in the here and now, helping you to maintain a balanced and peaceful mind. Controlling your inner dialogue also helps you develop a strong sense of self-discipline. Every time you catch a negative thought and replace it with something more constructive, you're strengthening your mental discipline. Over time, this discipline becomes a habit, allowing you to navigate life with greater ease and focus. You stop reacting impulsively to every thought and instead begin to respond with intention and clarity. This mental discipline spills over into every area of your life, helping you achieve your goals and maintain a sense of inner calm. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from within. External events will always be unpredictable, but your inner world is entirely within your control. By mastering your inner dialogue, you take responsibility for your own happiness. You stop waiting for the world to align with your desires and instead focus on aligning your thoughts with your values. This shift in perspective allows you to experience peace and contentment, regardless of what's happening around you. The power of your inner dialogue cannot be underestimated. It shapes your reality, your relationships, and your sense of self. By controlling this dialogue, you create a life that is grounded in peace, resilience, and happiness. It's not an easy journey, but it is one that brings profound rewards. Each time you choose to speak to yourself with kindness, each time you challenge a negative thought, you are building the foundation for a happier, more fulfilling life. As you continue to practice controlling your inner dialogue, you'll find that it becomes second nature. What once required conscious effort will begin to happen automatically. Your mind will naturally gravitate toward thoughts that support your happiness and well-being. And with this newfound mastery of your thoughts, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and joy. With the understanding of how crucial it is to control your inner dialogue in building a life of happiness, we now turn to a powerful tool in the Stoic philosophy, self-awareness. The path to mastering your thoughts starts with the ability to observe and understand them. Without self-awareness, we are blind to the patterns that shape our thinking, often unaware of the negativity that has taken root within us. Self-awareness allows you to step back and objectively see the thoughts that cloud your mind, offering a path to break free from harmful thinking and replace it with beliefs that empower and uplift you. The Stoics believed that by practicing self-reflection, we can illuminate the darker corners of our minds and confront the thoughts that hold us back. Self-awareness begins with recognizing the source of your thoughts. Thoughts are not random. They are shaped by your experiences, emotions, and environment. By paying close attention to the patterns that arise in your mind, you start to notice how certain situations or triggers bring about specific thoughts, many of which may be negative. This awareness is the first step toward change. Without it, you cannot hope to address the negativity that lurks beneath the surface. When you can clearly identify these patterns, you gain the power to challenge them. Once you begin to observe your thinking patterns, you'll start to see that many negative thoughts are automatic. They arise without effort, ingrained from years of habit. For example, you might notice that when you face a challenge, your immediate response is doubt or fear. This automatic negativity is a form of mental conditioning, and it happens so quickly that you may not even realize it. But by cultivating self-awareness, you create a pause between the thought and your reaction. This pause gives you the chance to choose a different response. Recognizing automatic negative thoughts is not enough. You must also understand their root cause. These thoughts are often born from past experiences, beliefs you've internalized, or fears you've carried for years. By reflecting on the origin of these thoughts, you can start to unravel the hold they have on you. The Stoics believed that self-reflection is a powerful tool for gaining insight into the deeper layers of your mind. When you take the time to explore why certain thoughts arise, you discover that they are often based on false assumptions or outdated beliefs. As you deepen your self-awareness, you may notice that many of your negative thoughts are driven by fear of failure, rejection, or loss. Fear can cloud your judgment, making you believe that worst-case scenarios are inevitable. The Stoics taught that fear is often irrational, and that by bringing awareness to your fears, you can diminish their power. When you shine a light on the fears that fuel your negative thinking, you begin to see them for what they are, exaggerated and unfounded. Part of the Stoic practice of self-awareness involves regularly taking the time to reflect on your thoughts and behaviors. This can be done through journaling, meditation, or quiet contemplation. The Stoics believed in daily reflection as a way to monitor their thoughts and actions, ensuring that they remained aligned with their values. By making reflection a habit, you train your mind to become more aware of its patterns, allowing you to catch negative thoughts before they spiral out of control. Self-awareness also involves recognizing the impact your thoughts have on your emotions and actions. Negative thinking patterns often lead to feelings of frustration, anger, or hopelessness. These emotions, in turn, influence how you behave, often causing you to react impulsively or defensively. By becoming aware of how your thoughts shape your emotional responses, you gain the ability to interrupt this cycle. Instead of allowing negative thoughts to dictate your emotions, you can choose to respond in a way that aligns with your higher values. As you practice self-awareness, you'll start to notice that many of your negative thoughts are repetitive. The same fears, doubts, or insecurities keep coming up over and over again. These thought loops can feel overwhelming, but the Stoics believed that repetition is the key to mastering the mind. Each time a negative thought arises, you have the opportunity to challenge it. The more you practice identifying and addressing these thoughts, the weaker their hold becomes. Over time, what once felt like an uncontrollable flood of negativity becomes manageable. An essential part of this practice is learning to separate facts from interpretations. Often, negative thinking patterns arise because we interpret events in a way that is not grounded in reality. For example, if someone criticizes you, you might immediately interpret this as a sign that you're not good enough. But is this really true, or is it just your interpretation? The Stoics taught that we must train our minds to see things as they are, without adding layers of judgment or fear. By practicing self-awareness, you learn to distinguish between what is real and what is simply a product of your mind's interpretation. Another powerful tool in the Stoic practice of self-awareness is questioning your assumptions. Many of the negative thoughts that arise are based on assumptions you've made about yourself or the world. You might assume that you're not capable, that people will judge you, or that things will go wrong. These assumptions often go unchallenged, but they can be incredibly damaging. By becoming aware of these assumptions, you can start to question them. Are they really true, or are they just beliefs you've accepted without examining? As you continue to reflect on your thinking patterns, you'll begin to see that many negative thoughts are rooted in comparison. We often compare ourselves to others, believing that we are lacking in some way. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, or frustration. But the Stoics taught that comparison is a trap. It distracts us from focusing on our own path and undermines our sense of self-worth. By becoming aware of when and why you compare yourself to others, you can begin to let go of this destructive habit and focus on your own growth. Self-awareness also involves recognizing the expectations you place on yourself and others. Often, negative thinking patterns arise when reality doesn't match your expectations. You might expect perfection from yourself, or you might expect others to behave in a certain way. When these expectations are not met, you feel disappointed, frustrated, or angry. The Stoics taught that by lowering your expectations and accepting things as they are, you can free yourself from much of this negativity. When you become aware of the unrealistic expectations you hold, you create space for acceptance and peace. Another key element of self-awareness is understanding how your environment influences your thoughts. The people you surround yourself with, the media you consume, and the situations you place yourself in all have a profound impact on your thinking patterns. Negative environments can reinforce negative thoughts, while positive environments can uplift and inspire you. By becoming aware of the external influences on your mind, you can make conscious choices about what you allow into your life. The Stoics believed in surrounding themselves with like-minded individuals who supported their growth and well-being. As you continue to practice self-awareness, you'll notice that certain situations or triggers consistently bring about negative thoughts. This awareness allows you to prepare for these moments and develop strategies to handle them more effectively. The Stoics taught that anticipation is a powerful tool for managing the mind. By anticipating potential challenges, you can approach them with a calm, prepared mindset, rather than being caught off guard by negativity. In addition to identifying negative thinking patterns, self-awareness also involves replacing these thoughts with more empowering beliefs. The Stoics believed that by consciously choosing thoughts that align with their values, they could cultivate a more peaceful and resilient mindset. When a negative thought arises, instead of letting it take hold, you can replace it with a thought that reflects your inner strength, wisdom, and courage. This practice of substitution is key to breaking the cycle of negativity and building a mindset rooted in empowerment. The more you practice this, the more you'll begin to notice subtle shifts in your mindset. Over time, the negative thoughts that once dominated your mind become less frequent, and the empowering beliefs you've cultivated take their place. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent effort, you'll start to see the fruits of your labor. You'll feel more confident, more in control of your emotions, and more at peace with yourself and the world around you. Self-awareness also involves being kind to yourself. As you begin to identify negative thinking patterns, it's easy to become frustrated with yourself for having these thoughts in the first place. But the Stoics taught that self-compassion is essential for growth. Negative thoughts are a natural part of the human experience, and berating yourself for having them only makes things worse. Instead, approach your thoughts with curiosity and understanding. By treating yourself with kindness, you create a supportive environment for change. As you become more self-aware, you'll also develop a greater sense of accountability. You'll start to see that while you can't always control the thoughts that arise, you can control how you respond to them. This sense of accountability empowers you to take responsibility for your mental state, rather than blaming external factors for your negativity. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from taking ownership of your mind and your actions, and self-awareness is the first step toward achieving this freedom. Through consistent practice, self-awareness becomes a tool for transformation. It allows you to break free from the mental patterns that have held you back and create new, empowering ways of thinking. This process of identifying and eliminating negative thinking patterns is not easy, but it is deeply rewarding. Each time you catch a negative thought and replace it with a belief that serves you, you are building the foundation for a more resilient, peaceful, and fulfilling life. In the end, self-awareness is the key to unlocking your potential. It allows you to see yourself clearly, to confront the thoughts that undermine your happiness, and to consciously choose beliefs that support your growth. The Stoics knew that without self-awareness, we are at the mercy of our minds, but with it, we can master our thoughts and create a life of purpose, peace, and empowerment. This is the path of the Stoic, the path of self-reflection, growth, and ultimate freedom from negativity. Having explored the transformative power of self-awareness in identifying and eliminating negative thought patterns, it's time to take the next step, turning those negative thoughts into positive action. Negative thinking, when left unchecked, can feel overwhelming, draining your energy and keeping you stuck. But Stoic philosophy teaches that even the darkest thoughts can be used as fuel for growth. Instead of letting negativity paralyze you, Stoicism offers a path to transform it into action that builds strength, resilience, and purpose. This is not about denying the presence of negativity, but about reshaping it into something constructive and empowering. Negative thoughts, by their nature, often focus on what cannot be done or what has gone wrong. But within every negative thought lies an opportunity. The Stoics believed that challenges and adversity reveal who we truly are. When you are faced with a negative thought, it can serve as a signal, highlighting an area of your life where change or action is needed. Rather than allowing the thought to pull you down, Stoic reflection encourages you to ask, "What can I do with this?" This simple question shifts your focus from being overwhelmed by the problem to finding a solution. Reflecting on your negative thoughts with purpose helps you uncover their true meaning. Often, negativity points to a deeper fear or insecurity. By using Stoic reflection, you can identify the root of the thought and ask yourself how you can grow from it. If the thought stems from fear of failure, for example, you can use it as a push to take action despite the fear. This mindset allows you to face your fears head-on, transforming them from obstacles into opportunities for personal development. When you reflect on negative thoughts, you gain clarity. Instead of being swept away by emotions, you create space to think rationally. Stoic reflection is not about wallowing in negative emotions, but about using them as a tool for insight. You learn to step back from the thought, observe it objectively, and ask how it can be redirected toward action. In this way, reflection becomes the key to moving forward, even in the face of negativity. It teaches you to act with intention rather than react impulsively. Every time you use Stoic reflection to transform a negative thought into positive action, you build resilience. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship, but about growing stronger through it. The Stoics saw life's difficulties as a chance to practice their philosophy in real time. When faced with negativity, they didn't shy away from it. They embraced it as a training ground for their character. Each challenge was an opportunity to practice patience, courage, and wisdom. By adopting this mindset, you too can turn every negative thought into a step toward becoming more resilient. Through reflection, you begin to see negative thoughts as temporary. They lose their permanence and weight because you know they can be transformed. You gain the power to take control of your mental landscape, choosing which thoughts deserve your attention and which can be turned into fuel for action. This approach frees you from the helplessness that negativity often brings. Instead of feeling stuck, you feel empowered to take control of your circumstances. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable and that suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience. But they also knew that suffering can be a powerful teacher. When you reflect on your negative thoughts, you're not just trying to get rid of them, you're learning from them. Every thought, every challenge offers a lesson. Whether it's about patience, perseverance, or acceptance, negative thoughts become a pathway to deeper wisdom when you approach them with a Stoic mindset. Reflection helps you recognize that negative thoughts often arise from resistance to reality. You may resist the way things are, wishing they were different. This resistance breeds frustration and negativity. But Stoicism teaches the importance of accepting what is, without judgment. By reflecting on your thoughts, you can ask yourself, am I resisting something I cannot change? If the answer is yes, you can begin to let go of that resistance and focus on what you can control, your actions, your responses, and your attitude. In turning negative thoughts into positive action, it's essential to focus on what is within your control. Stoic reflection allows you to separate what you can influence from what you cannot. Once you've identified what is within your power, you can direct your energy toward meaningful action. This practice not only helps to eliminate unnecessary stress, but also encourages you to take ownership of your life. You stop wasting energy on things outside of your control and start channeling it into what you can change. Reflecting on negative thoughts also helps you build patience. Often, we want immediate results or solutions, and when they don't come, frustration sets in. But Stoicism teaches that patience is a virtue and that progress takes time. When you reflect on your thoughts, you give yourself the space to slow down, to recognize that some solutions come with persistence and steady effort. This patience transforms the anxiety of waiting into an opportunity for continued growth. Stoic reflection encourages you to find meaning in every situation, even in negativity. Negative thoughts are often seen as something to be avoided or pushed away, but the Stoics believed that everything, even suffering, has value if you learn from it. When you reflect on your struggles, you can ask yourself what lesson they are teaching you. By finding meaning in the challenges you face, you transform negativity into a source of purpose and growth. Another powerful aspect of reflection is that it shifts your focus from problems to possibilities. Negative thoughts often keep you fixated on what's wrong, but reflection encourages you to explore what could be right. You start to look for solutions, for ways to move forward, rather than dwelling on what's holding you back. This shift in focus turns obstacles into opportunities for creative thinking and problem-solving. Using Stoic reflection, you also develop a greater sense of personal responsibility. Negative thoughts can make you feel like a victim of your circumstances, but when you reflect with purpose, you realize that you always have a choice in how you respond. You may not be able to change the external situation, but you can choose how to act. This sense of responsibility empowers you to take positive steps forward, even in the face of adversity. Reflection is also a tool for refining your character. The Stoics believed that every challenge, every negative thought, is an opportunity to strengthen your virtues. When you reflect on your reactions to negativity, you can ask yourself, how can I be more courageous? How can I practice more wisdom? This constant self-reflection helps you align your actions with your highest values, turning negative thoughts into moments of moral growth. When you practice reflecting on negativity, you become more adaptable. Life is full of unexpected changes, and negative thoughts often arise when things don't go as planned. But by using Stoic reflection, you can learn to adapt to new circumstances without losing your sense of purpose. You begin to see challenges as part of the journey, not as roadblocks. This adaptability helps you stay focused on your goals, even when the path forward changes. Through reflection, you also build mental clarity. Negative thoughts can cloud your judgment, making it hard to see things as they are. But when you take the time to reflect, you clear away the emotional fog and gain a clearer perspective. This clarity allows you to make decisions that are rooted in wisdom rather than in fear or frustration. With a clear mind, you can turn negative situations into opportunities for deliberate, thoughtful action. Stoic reflection helps you practice gratitude, even in the face of negativity. When you reflect on your challenges, you can also take the time to appreciate the strength and resilience you're building through those challenges. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring the negative. It means acknowledging the good that can come from difficult situations. By practicing gratitude, you shift your focus from what's lacking to what's being gained, transforming negativity into an opportunity for deeper appreciation. The more you reflect, the more you begin to see negative thoughts as temporary. They lose their power because you recognize that they are fleeting moments in a much larger journey. This understanding allows you to stay calm in the face of negativity, knowing that it will pass and that you have the tools to turn it into something positive. With this mindset, you become less reactive and more proactive, using each negative thought as a stepping stone to growth. Through consistent reflection, you also cultivate emotional resilience. Negative thoughts often trigger strong emotional reactions, but Stoic reflection teaches you to manage these emotions with calmness and clarity. By reflecting on your emotional responses, you learn to separate your emotions from your actions. You gain the ability to feel deeply without being overwhelmed, allowing you to act with wisdom even in the midst of emotional turmoil. One of the most powerful outcomes of Stoic reflection is the development of inner peace. Negative thoughts often stir up inner conflict, making it hard to feel settled or content. But when you reflect on your thoughts and take positive action, you create a sense of alignment between your mind and your actions. This alignment brings a deep sense of peace, knowing that you are living in accordance with your values and using every experience, even negative ones, for growth. As you continue to practice Stoic reflection, you also build confidence. Each time you turn a negative thought into positive action, you reinforce your belief in your own strength and capability. Over time, you begin to trust yourself more, knowing that you have the tools to handle whatever challenges come your way. This confidence allows you to approach life with a sense of calm determination, no longer afraid of negativity, but ready to face it head-on. Stoic reflection is also a way to practice humility. Negative thoughts often arise from a place of ego, feeling like things should go a certain way or that you deserve better. But by reflecting on your thoughts, you can see the bigger picture. You realize that life is not about getting everything you want, but about growing through what you experience. This humility allows you to let go of the need for control and to embrace the process of learning and growth. As you reflect on your negative thoughts, you also begin to develop greater empathy for others. You recognize that everyone faces challenges and that negative thoughts are a universal part of the human experience. This understanding helps you become more compassionate toward others, knowing that they too are navigating their own inner struggles. By practicing empathy, you turn your own challenges into a source of connection with others. Through consistent reflection, you also develop a deeper sense of purpose. Negative thoughts can often make you feel lost or disconnected from your goals, but Stoic reflection helps you reconnect with your sense of purpose. Every challenge becomes a chance to reaffirm what matters most to you and to take steps toward living in alignment with your values. This sense of purpose gives meaning to every experience, even the difficult ones, and helps you stay focused on what truly matters. Stoic reflection also helps you cultivate perseverance. When faced with negativity, it's easy to feel discouraged or to give up. But through reflection, you learn to see challenges as part of the journey, not as reasons to quit. This perseverance allows you to keep moving forward, even when the path is difficult. You develop the mental strength to stay committed to your goals, knowing that every setback is an opportunity to grow. In the end, Stoic reflection is a practice of transformation. It teaches you to take control of your thoughts, to use every experience as a chance for growth, and to turn negativity into positive action. Through consistent reflection, you build resilience, wisdom, and inner peace. You learn to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength, knowing that every negative thought is an opportunity to become the best version of yourself. Having explored how Stoic reflection transforms negative thoughts into positive action, we now turn to one of the most essential lessons in Stoic philosophy, the art of letting go of control. So much of the negativity in our minds arises from our need to control things that are simply beyond our influence. We worry, stress, and obsess over outcomes, over other people's reactions, and over circumstances that are out of our hands. The Stoics believed that true peace comes not from controlling everything around you, but from accepting that most things are outside your control. When you let go of that need, you free your mind from the constant struggle that negativity brings. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the understanding that there are two main categories of things, those we can control and those we cannot. Your thoughts, actions, and reactions are within your control. The behavior of others, external events, and the future are not. Yet, so often, we spend our energy trying to control the uncontrollable. This desire for control feeds into our negative thinking as we focus on outcomes we can't dictate. By letting go of that desire, we shift our attention to what truly matters, our own actions and responses. When you cling to control, you create stress and anxiety. The more you try to control outcomes, the more frustrated you become when things don't go as planned. This constant battle against uncertainty leads to a flood of negative thoughts, fears about the future, worries about what others will think, doubts about your ability to handle situations. But when you release your grip on control, you create space for peace. You begin to understand that while you can't control everything, you always have control over how you respond to the situation at hand. Letting go of control also teaches you the art of acceptance. So often, negative thoughts arise because we resist the way things are. We want reality to bend to our expectations, and when it doesn't, we feel frustrated or disappointed. The Stoics taught that acceptance is the key to inner peace. By accepting things as they are, without judgment or resistance, you free yourself from the mental strain of constantly wishing things were different. This acceptance allows you to focus on what you can control and to let go of the rest, clearing the path to a calmer mind. One of the main sources of negativity is fear of the unknown. We often try to control the future, planning every detail, hoping to avoid uncertainty. But the future is always uncertain, and trying to control it only breeds anxiety. The Stoics believed that by letting go of the need to control the future, you free yourself from that anxiety. Instead of worrying about what might happen, you focus on what you can do in the present moment. This shift in focus helps you move from a place of fear to a place of empowerment, knowing that while the future is unknown, you have the strength to face whatever comes. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up on your goals or becoming passive. It means recognizing that while you can set your intentions and work toward your objectives, the outcome is never guaranteed. By detaching from the outcome, you free yourself from the stress of needing things to turn out a certain way. You learn to appreciate the process rather than fixating on the result. This detachment allows you to work with greater focus and clarity because your mind is no longer consumed by fear of failure or the desire for perfection. When you stop trying to control everything, you also let go of the pressure to be perfect. Perfectionism is a major source of negative thoughts, as we constantly judge ourselves for not meeting impossibly high standards. But perfection is an illusion, and the pursuit of it only leads to frustration and self-doubt. The Stoics understood that growth comes not from being perfect, but from doing your best with what you have in the moment. By letting go of the need for perfection, you free yourself from the burden of constant self-criticism and embrace a mindset of learning and growth. Another key benefit of letting go of control is the freedom it brings to your relationships. So often, negative thoughts about others stem from the desire to control their behavior or opinions. We want people to act a certain way, to agree with us, or to validate our choices. But the actions and thoughts of others are outside of our control. By letting go of the need to control those around you, you open the door to healthier, more peaceful relationships. You stop trying to change people and instead focus on how you can show up as your best self in every interaction. Letting go of control also helps you develop greater resilience. Life is full of unexpected challenges, and when we try to control every aspect of it, we are often thrown off course when things don't go according to plan. But by embracing the Stoic principle of focusing only on what you can control, you become more adaptable. You learn to accept setbacks without letting them derail you, and you develop the mental strength to navigate uncertainty with grace. This resilience allows you to bounce back from difficulties without falling into the trap of negative thinking. When you let go of control, you also release the need for external validation. So much of our negative thinking comes from worrying about how others perceive us. We try to control their opinions, seeking approval and fearing judgment. But the Stoics taught that true peace comes from within, not from the opinions of others. By letting go of the need to control how others see you, you free yourself from the mental burden of constantly seeking validation. You begin to trust yourself more and to value your own judgment, regardless of what others think. Letting go of control also teaches you the value of humility. Often, we try to control things because we believe we know what's best. But the truth is, we don't always have the answers. The Stoics believed in approaching life with a sense of humility, recognizing that we don't have control over everything and that sometimes Things will happen that are beyond our understanding. This humility allows you to let go of the need for control and to trust in the flow of life. It teaches you to approach each situation with curiosity and openness rather than with rigid expectations. The act of letting go of control also allows you to experience life more fully. When you're constantly trying to manage every detail, you miss out on the present moment. You're too focused on what might happen in the future or what others might be thinking to truly enjoy what's in front of you. But by letting go of control, you free yourself to be fully present. You learn to appreciate the moment for what it is, without needing it to be perfect or different. This presence brings a deep sense of peace and contentment, allowing you to experience life in its fullness. Letting go of control also reduces the mental noise that often clouds your mind. When you're constantly trying to control things, your thoughts become tangled with worries, fears, and doubts. This mental clutter makes it difficult to think clearly or make decisions. But when you let go of the need to control, you quiet the noise. Your mind becomes more focused and clear, allowing you to approach situations with greater calmness and wisdom. This mental clarity is key to reducing negative thoughts and creating a sense of inner peace. Another benefit of letting go of control is that it frees you from the weight of unrealistic expectations. We often place high expectations on ourselves and others, expecting things to go a certain way. When reality doesn't align with these expectations, it leads to disappointment, frustration, and negativity. But by letting go of control, you learn to release these expectations and accept things as they are. This acceptance brings a sense of freedom, as you no longer feel bound by the pressure of needing everything to turn out perfectly. Letting go of control also helps you cultivate a sense of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in others, and trust in the process of life. When you try to control everything, it often stems from a lack of trust, from a fear that things will fall apart if you don't manage every detail. But the Stoics taught that by letting go, you create space for trust to grow. You begin to trust that you can handle whatever comes your way, even if things don't go as planned. This trust allows you to approach life with a sense of confidence and ease, knowing that you are capable of navigating whatever challenges arise. Letting go of control doesn't mean letting go of responsibility. On the contrary, it teaches you to take full responsibility for what is within your control, your thoughts, actions, and responses. By focusing on what you can control, you become more intentional with your actions. You stop wasting energy on things you can't change and start directing your energy toward what truly matters. This sense of responsibility empowers you to live with purpose and clarity, free from the distractions of unnecessary worry. As you practice letting go of control, you also develop a deeper sense of gratitude. When you stop trying to control everything, you become more aware of the blessings in your life that are already present. You begin to appreciate the things you have, rather than constantly striving for more or fearing loss. This gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, helping to dissolve negative thoughts and replace them with feelings of contentment and peace. Letting go of control also helps you embrace uncertainty. Life is inherently unpredictable, and the more we try to control it, the more we resist this truth. But by accepting uncertainty as a natural part of life, you release the anxiety that comes with it. The Stoics believed that uncertainty is not something to fear, but something to accept with grace. When you let go of control, you learn to embrace the unknown with curiosity and courage, knowing that you are strong enough to handle whatever comes your way. The act of letting go also allows you to release the fear of failure. So much of our need for control comes from the fear of things going wrong or not living up to our expectations. But the Stoics taught that failure is not something to be feared. It is a part of the learning process. By letting go of the fear of failure, you free yourself to take risks, to try new things, and to learn from your mistakes. This mindset shift turns what was once a source of negativity into an opportunity for growth. Letting go of control also encourages you to practice patience. Often, we try to control things because we want immediate results, and when they don't come, we become frustrated or discouraged. But the Stoics believed in the virtue of patience, understanding that growth and change take time. By letting go of the need for instant outcomes, you develop the patience to allow things to unfold naturally, without forcing them. This patience brings a sense of peace, knowing that things will happen in their own time. Through the practice of letting go of control, you also cultivate a sense of detachment. This detachment is not about being indifferent, but about releasing the emotional attachment to specific outcomes. When you are too attached to how things should go, you create unnecessary stress and disappointment when they don't. But by practicing detachment, you learn to remain calm and centered, regardless of the outcome. This detachment allows you to approach life with a sense of balance and equanimity, free from the emotional highs and lows that come with trying to control everything. Letting go of control also helps you develop resilience. Life is full of unexpected challenges, and the more you try to control every aspect of it, the more rigid you become. But by letting go, you become more flexible and adaptable. You learn to roll with the punches and to find solutions even when things don't go according to plan. This resilience helps you bounce back from setbacks without falling into the trap of negative thinking. As you continue to practice letting go of control, you begin to experience a deeper sense of peace. Negative thoughts lose their grip on you because you are no longer trying to manage every detail of your life. You trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, and you accept the things you cannot change. This peace comes not from having everything figured out, but from knowing that you are capable of facing whatever challenges arise with grace and resilience. With the freedom that comes from letting go of control, you gain the mental space to build something more powerful: resilience. Resilience is the foundation of a mind that can face adversity, navigate uncertainty, and dismiss negative thoughts before they take root. Stoicism teaches that resilience is not about avoiding hardship, but about growing stronger through it. Life will always present challenges, and negative thoughts will inevitably arise, but mental toughness allows you to stay focused on growth rather than being weighed down by negativity. Now, we turn our attention to how Stoic techniques can help you develop the kind of mental resilience that keeps you grounded, even in the face of difficulty. At the core of resilience is the ability to remain calm in the face of negative thoughts. The Stoics believed that the mind is like a fortress, strong, impenetrable, and capable of withstanding external forces. But this strength doesn't come naturally. It must be cultivated through consistent practice. When negative thoughts arise, the resilient mind doesn't panic or react impulsively. Instead, it observes these thoughts, understands their source, and responds with calm determination. This steady mindset prevents negativity from spiraling out of control and keeps you focused on what truly matters. Resilience is built by training your mind to focus on what you can do rather than what you can't control. Many negative thoughts stem from feeling powerless in the face of adversity, but Stoic philosophy teaches that while you cannot always control your circumstances, you can always control your response. By redirecting your focus to what is within your power, you regain a sense of agency. This mental shift strengthens your resilience because you stop wasting energy on things beyond your reach and start channeling it into constructive action. To build resilience, you must also cultivate self-discipline. Resilience requires the ability to stay consistent and focused, even when things don't go as planned. The Stoics practiced self-discipline daily, knowing that the mind, like a muscle, grows stronger with use. Every time you resist the pull of negative thinking and choose to focus on growth instead, you are strengthening your mental toughness. Over time, this discipline becomes second nature, allowing you to face challenges with confidence rather than fear. Another key aspect of resilience is learning to embrace discomfort. The Stoics believed that discomfort and hardship are inevitable parts of life, and rather than avoiding them, we should embrace them as opportunities for growth. Every challenge, every setback, is a chance to build mental strength. When you face discomfort with an open mind, you train yourself to handle adversity without being overwhelmed by negative thoughts. This practice of embracing discomfort helps you develop the mental resilience needed to navigate life's difficulties with grace and composure. Resilience also comes from developing a mindset of persistence. The Stoics understood that progress is often slow and that setbacks are a natural part of the journey. But resilience means continuing to move forward, even when the path is difficult. It means not giving up when things don't go as planned, and trusting that with persistence, you will eventually overcome the obstacles in your way. This mindset allows you to keep growing, regardless of the challenges you face. In addition to persistence, resilience requires flexibility. Life rarely unfolds the way we expect, and rigid thinking only leads to frustration and disappointment. The Stoics taught that flexibility is key to resilience because it allows you to adapt to changing circumstances without losing your sense of direction. When you approach challenges with a flexible mindset, you can adjust your course without being derailed by negative thoughts. This adaptability helps you stay focused on growth, even when the path ahead is uncertain. Resilience is also about learning from failure. Negative thoughts often arise after a setback as we question our abilities or feel discouraged by our lack of progress. But the Stoics believed that failure is not something to be feared. It is a necessary part of growth. Each failure is a lesson, a chance to reflect on what went wrong and how to improve. By viewing failure as a stepping stone to success, you turn it into an opportunity for growth rather than a source of negativity. One of the most powerful Stoic techniques for building resilience is the practice of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means being able to step back from your thoughts and emotions and view them objectively. When negative thoughts arise, detachment allows you to observe them without getting swept up in them. This mental distance gives you the clarity to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. By practicing detachment, you develop the mental toughness to face negativity without letting it control you. Resilience is also built by practicing gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is abundant. When negative thoughts start to cloud your mind, practicing gratitude helps you reframe the situation and see the positives, even in difficult circumstances. The Stoics believed that by focusing on what we are thankful for, we can cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. This shift in perspective strengthens your resilience because it prevents negative thoughts from taking root and encourages you to focus on growth. Another important element of resilience is the ability to remain patient. When we encounter challenges, it's easy to become frustrated when solutions don't come quickly, but the Stoics taught that patience is a virtue and that growth often takes time. By cultivating patience, you develop the resilience to keep going even when progress is slow. This patience allows you to maintain a steady course without being derailed by impatience or frustration. Resilience also involves accepting that negative thoughts are a natural part of life. No matter how mentally strong you become, negative thoughts will still arise. But resilience means not letting these thoughts control you. It means acknowledging them without judgment, then choosing to focus on what you can do to move forward. This acceptance frees you from the struggle of trying to eliminate negative thoughts altogether and allows you to focus on building mental toughness. Through consistent practice, resilience becomes a habit. Each time you confront a negative thought and choose to focus on positive growth instead, you are reinforcing a pattern of mental toughness. Over time, this habit becomes automatic, and you find that negative thoughts no longer have the same power over you. Instead, you approach challenges with a sense of calm confidence, knowing that you have the tools to overcome whatever comes your way. Another key aspect of resilience is the ability to stay grounded in the present moment. Negative thoughts often arise from worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. But the Stoics taught that the present moment is the only thing we truly have control over. By focusing on the here and now, you prevent your mind from being pulled into negative thought patterns. This focus on the present helps you stay centered and resilient, even in the face of uncertainty. Resilience is also built by practicing self-compassion. Negative thoughts often stem from being overly critical of ourselves when things go wrong, but the Stoics understood that self-compassion is essential for growth. By treating yourself with kindness and understanding, you create a supportive environment for building resilience. This self-compassion allows you to bounce back from setbacks without being weighed down by self-doubt or negativity. Building resilience also requires a sense of purpose. The Stoics believed that having a clear sense of purpose helps you stay focused on what truly matters, even when faced with adversity. When you have a strong sense of why you are doing something, it becomes easier to dismiss negative thoughts and stay committed to your goals. This sense of purpose acts as a guiding light, helping you navigate challenges with resilience and determination. Resilience is not just about enduring hardship, it's about growing stronger through it. The Stoics believed that challenges are opportunities to practice virtues like patience, courage, and wisdom. By approaching difficulties with this mindset, you turn negative thoughts into opportunities for personal growth. This growth mindset allows you to build resilience because you see every challenge as a chance to strengthen your mental toughness. Another important aspect of resilience is the ability to maintain perspective. When negative thoughts arise, they often distort your view of the situation, making problems seem bigger than they are. But Stoic philosophy teaches the importance of keeping things in perspective. By stepping back and viewing the situation from a broader vantage point, you can see that most challenges are temporary and that you have the strength to overcome them. This perspective helps you stay grounded and resilient, even when things feel overwhelming. Resilience is also built by developing emotional regulation. The Stoics believed that while emotions are a natural part of life, we should not let them control us. By learning to regulate your emotions, you can prevent negative feelings from turning into negative thoughts. This emotional regulation strengthens your resilience because it allows you to stay calm and focused, even in difficult situations. Another powerful Stoic technique for building resilience is the practice of visualization. The Stoics would often visualize worst-case scenarios, not to dwell on negativity, but to prepare themselves mentally for challenges. By visualizing potential obstacles, you can build resilience by mentally preparing for them in advance. This practice allows you to approach difficulties with a sense of calm readiness, knowing that you have already thought through how you will handle them. Resilience is also developed through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you stay aware of your thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them. By practicing mindfulness, you can catch negative thoughts before they spiral out of control. This awareness allows you to choose how you respond to challenges rather than reacting impulsively. Mindfulness strengthens your resilience because it helps you stay present and focused, even in the face of adversity. Resilience is also about maintaining hope. The Stoics believed that even in the darkest times, there is always a path forward. By holding on to hope, you build the mental toughness to keep going, even when things seem bleak. This sense of hope allows you to stay focused on growth and possibility, rather than being consumed by negativity. Another key element of resilience is adaptability. Life is full of unexpected changes, and resilience requires the ability to adapt to these changes without losing your sense of direction. The Stoics taught that flexibility is essential for resilience because it allows you to navigate challenges with a sense of openness and curiosity. By staying adaptable, you can find new solutions to problems, even when things don't go as planned. Resilience is also built by practicing forgiveness. Holding on to grudges or past mistakes can weigh you down and keep you stuck in negative thought patterns. But the Stoics believed that forgiveness is essential for personal growth. By forgiving yourself and others, you release the mental burden of resentment and create space for positive growth. This practice of forgiveness strengthens your resilience because it allows you to move forward without being held back by the past. Resilience is also about developing a strong support system. While Stoic philosophy emphasizes self-reliance, it also acknowledges the importance of community. Having a network of supportive people helps you build resilience by providing encouragement, perspective, and guidance when you need it most. This sense of connection helps you stay strong in the face of challenges, knowing that you are not alone. Through consistent practice, resilience becomes a way of life. It is not something you achieve once and for all, but something you continue to build over time. Each challenge you face, each negative thought you overcome, adds another layer to your mental toughness. Over time, this resilience becomes second nature, allowing you to navigate life's ups and downs with a sense of calm strength and unwavering focus on growth. Having explored how mental resilience empowers you to overcome negative thoughts and stay focused on growth, it's now time to uncover one of the most transformative practices in Stoicism: gratitude. Gratitude has the power to shift your mindset completely, dissolving negativity and replacing it with an appreciation for the present moment. It isn't just about being thankful for the obvious blessings in life, but about learning to recognize the value in everything, even in the challenges and obstacles you face. Practicing gratitude, as the Stoics did, can dramatically reframe your perspective, helping you eliminate negative thoughts and focus on the abundance around you. Gratitude is a choice, one that fundamentally alters how you see the world. Negative thinking often comes from focusing on what is lacking, on what has gone wrong, or on what could be better. This mindset narrows your view, making it easy to overlook the many things that are already working in your life. But when you choose gratitude, you widen your perspective. You begin to see that even in difficult times, there is something to appreciate. This shift in focus doesn't deny the presence of challenges, but it reminds you that your life is still filled with moments of beauty and value. The Stoics believed that everything in life, even the things that seem unpleasant, can be seen as a gift. This mindset allows you to reframe negative situations and find the good in them. For example, a setback at work might be frustrating, but it can also be an opportunity to grow, to learn new skills, or to strengthen your resilience. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending that challenges don't exist. It means acknowledging them while also appreciating the lessons they bring. This approach helps you break free from the cycle of negative thinking and embrace a more balanced view of life. When you practice gratitude consistently, you train your mind to focus on what is good rather than what is missing. This practice is especially powerful when negative thoughts arise. Instead of letting those thoughts spiral, you can interrupt them by consciously shifting your attention to the things you are grateful for. This simple act of refocusing can completely change your emotional state, turning feelings of frustration or anxiety into ones of peace and contentment. Gratitude also helps you stay present. Negative thoughts often pull you into the past, rehashing old regrets, or into the future, worrying about what might go wrong. But gratitude grounds you in the here and now. It reminds you that there are good things happening in this very moment, no matter how small they may seem. By focusing on the present, you reduce the power of negative thinking, which thrives on dwelling in the past or fearing the future. Gratitude helps you appreciate the richness of your life as it is, right now. The Stoics understood that the more you focus on what you lack, the more discontented you become. By practicing gratitude, you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. You begin to realize that you already have more than enough to be happy. This doesn't mean you stop striving for improvement or growth, but it does mean that your happiness is no longer tied to having more or achieving something outside of yourself. Gratitude anchors you in the knowledge that true contentment comes from appreciating what you already have. One of the most profound aspects of gratitude is its ability to turn ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. When you approach life with a sense of appreciation, even the smallest things take on new meaning. A walk in the park, a conversation with a friend, or a meal with family becomes a source of joy. This shift in perspective allows you to find beauty and meaning in the everyday, transforming what might otherwise be overlooked into something worth celebrating. Practicing gratitude also helps you build stronger relationships. Negative thinking often arises in the context of your interactions with others, feeling frustrated, misunderstood, or let down. But when you focus on what you appreciate about the people in your life, those negative feelings start to dissolve. You begin to see the good in others more clearly, and this not only strengthens your relationships, but also creates a more positive environment. Gratitude fosters connection and understanding, reducing conflict and increasing empathy. Gratitude also encourages humility. The Stoics believed that much of our suffering comes from pride and the belief that we are entitled to certain things. But gratitude reminds you that everything in life is a gift, not a guarantee. This mindset helps you let go of the need to control or to always have things your way. Instead, you approach life with a sense of appreciation for what you have, rather than feeling resentful for what you don't. This humility brings peace and reduces the mental strain that comes from constantly striving for more. The practice of gratitude can be particularly powerful during times of hardship. When things go wrong, it's easy to focus solely on the negative aspects of the situation. But gratitude allows you to find the silver lining, even in difficult moments. It helps you see that every challenge has something to offer, whether it's a lesson learned, a moment of growth, or a new perspective gained. This mindset doesn't eliminate the pain of hardship, but it does help you navigate it with a greater sense of hope and resilience. Gratitude also has a ripple effect. When you practice gratitude, it not only shifts your own mindset, but it also influences the people around you. Your positive outlook becomes contagious, inspiring others to focus on the good in their own lives. This creates a cycle of positivity that benefits not only you, but also your community. The Stoics understood that our thoughts and actions impact those around us, and by practicing gratitude, you contribute to a more uplifting and supportive environment. Another important aspect of gratitude is that it helps you recognize your own growth. Negative thinking often focuses on what you haven't yet achieved or how far you still have to go. But gratitude allows you to take a step back and appreciate how far you've already come. It encourages you to celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and to acknowledge the effort you've put in. This self-appreciation is crucial for maintaining motivation and staying focused on your journey, rather than getting bogged down by what's still ahead. Gratitude also helps you let go of comparison. One of the main sources of negative thinking is the tendency to compare yourself to others, feeling inadequate or envious when you perceive others as more successful or happier. But gratitude shifts your focus inward, reminding you of the unique blessings in your own life. It helps you appreciate your own path, rather than constantly measuring it against someone else's. This shift in focus reduces feelings of inadequacy and helps you find contentment in your own journey. In practicing gratitude, you also develop a deeper sense of patience. When you are grateful for the present moment and the progress you've made, you stop rushing toward the next thing. You become more patient with yourself and with life's natural rhythms. Gratitude teaches you that everything unfolds in its own time, and that by appreciating where you are now, you create a more peaceful and fulfilling experience. This patience helps dissolve the urgency and frustration that often fuel negative thoughts. Gratitude also helps you cultivate resilience. When life throws challenges your way, it's easy to get lost in negative thinking. But gratitude reminds you that even in the midst of difficulty, there are things to be thankful for. This mindset helps you stay grounded and hopeful, even when times are tough. It gives you the strength to keep moving forward, knowing that there is always something to appreciate, no matter how small. This resilience is essential for overcoming challenges and staying focused on growth. Another powerful aspect of gratitude is that it helps you focus on what truly matters. In a world that often emphasizes material success and external achievements, it's easy to lose sight of what brings real fulfillment. But gratitude shifts your focus away from superficial goals and toward the things that bring lasting happiness, love, connection, personal growth, and inner peace. By practicing gratitude, you realign your priorities and create a life that is rich in meaning, rather than one that is driven by external validation. Gratitude also helps you let go of the past. Negative thoughts often arise from dwelling on past mistakes or regrets, but gratitude encourages you to focus on the lessons learned rather than on the mistakes themselves. It helps you see how even your past challenges have contributed to your growth and development. This shift in perspective allows you to let go of the guilt or shame that may be holding you back, and to move forward with a sense of appreciation for the journey you've been on. In addition to letting go of the past, gratitude helps you release the fear of the future. Negative thinking often stems from worrying about what might happen or fearing the unknown. But gratitude brings you back to the present, reminding you that there is so much to appreciate right now. This focus on the present reduces anxiety about the future and helps you approach life with a greater sense of trust and confidence. You stop worrying about what's to come and start appreciating what is already here. Gratitude also strengthens your sense of self-worth. When you take the time to appreciate your own strengths, accomplishments, and efforts, you begin to see yourself in a more positive light. This self-appreciation helps counteract the negative thoughts that often undermine your confidence. By practicing gratitude, you build a stronger sense of self-worth, knowing that you are capable and deserving of the good things in your life. Another key benefit of gratitude is that it helps you stay adaptable. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and it's easy to get frustrated when things don't go as planned. But gratitude helps you remain flexible, knowing that even when plans change, there is still something to be thankful for. This adaptability allows you to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and to find new opportunities for growth, even in the face of uncertainty. Gratitude also helps you develop a sense of abundance. Negative thoughts often come from a mindset of scarcity, the belief that there isn't enough to go around, whether it's success, happiness, or resources. But gratitude shifts your focus to what you already have, helping you see that your life is filled with abundance. This mindset helps dissolve feelings of lack and replaces them with a sense of contentment and peace. By practicing gratitude, you also develop a deeper connection to others. Gratitude encourages you to recognize the positive impact that people have had on your life, whether it's through acts of kindness, support, or simply being there when you needed them. This recognition fosters a sense of connection and appreciation, strengthening your relationships and creating a more positive environment. Gratitude helps you see the good in others and deepens your sense of empathy and understanding. Gratitude is also a powerful tool for managing stress. When you're caught up in negative thinking, stress can quickly take over, making even small challenges feel overwhelming. But by focusing on what you're thankful for, you reduce the mental and emotional strain that comes with stress. Gratitude helps you stay grounded, reminding you that no matter how difficult things may seem, there is always something to be grateful for. This mindset helps you approach stressful situations with a greater sense of calm and perspective. Another important aspect of gratitude is that it helps you stay motivated. When you focus on what you appreciate, you create a positive feedback loop that encourages you to keep moving forward. Gratitude gives you the energy and enthusiasm to continue pursuing your goals, even when challenges arise. It reminds you that progress is worth celebrating and that every step forward is something to be thankful for. Gratitude also encourages mindfulness. When you practice gratitude, you become more aware of the small, everyday moments that bring joy and fulfillment. This mindfulness helps you stay present, reducing the tendency to get lost in negative thoughts or distractions. By cultivating mindfulness through gratitude, you create a deeper connection to your own experience and develop a greater sense of appreciation for the richness of life. Another powerful benefit of gratitude is that it helps you release judgment. Negative thinking often arises from judging yourself or others too harshly, but gratitude encourages you to focus on the good rather than on the flaws. This shift in focus helps you become more compassionate toward yourself and others, reducing the critical thoughts that can lead to negativity. Gratitude helps you see the beauty in imperfection and encourages you to approach life with kindness and acceptance. As you continue to practice gratitude, it becomes a way of life. It's not just something you do occasionally, it becomes the lens through which you view the world. This gratitude mindset transforms how you experience life, helping you find joy, meaning, and peace in every moment. Through gratitude, you eliminate negative thinking and create a life that is rich in appreciation, resilience, and contentment. As we've journeyed through this video, you've discovered how Stoic wisdom can help you take control of your mind, break free from overthinking, and turn negativity into strength. From mastering your inner dialogue to building resilience, gratitude, and letting go of control, each step has brought you closer to reclaiming your peace and mental clarity. Stoicism isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about using every challenge as a stepping stone to personal growth and empowerment. Now that you have the tools to transform your thoughts, it's time to take action. How will you begin applying these Stoic principles to eliminate negativity and live with more purpose? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you're taking your first steps toward mastering your mind. And if this video resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Join our community of thinkers and seekers, where we dive deeper into Stoicism and other life-transforming ideas. Let's continue this journey together toward a life of greater peace, resilience,